Welcome to our channel HD Rare Coin 111, your go-to spot for uncovering the incredible world of rare US coins. If you've ever wondered if your old pennies, nickels, or dimes are worth more than face value, you're about to find out. In today's video, we'll be exploring some truly rare coins and their shocking values. And if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. So let's jump in. Top 1. In 1976, the United States of America marked its 200th anniversary of independence, and to commemorate this monumental occasion, the U.S. Mint released a coin that would soon become iconic, the Kennedy half-dollar, featuring a special design that paid tribute to both the nation's history and its future. The Kennedy half-dollar, first minted in 1964 following the tragic assassination of President John F. Kennedy, was already a beloved piece of U.S. currency. But in 1976, it took on new significance with its bicentennial design. The coin was not just another piece of currency. It symbolized the deep connection between the American people and their shared history. What was meant to be a simple tribute to the 200th anniversary of America's independence turned into something far more cherished, especially for collectors and history enthusiasts. Let's take a closer look at this fascinating piece of U.S. numismatic history, the 1776 to 1976 Kennedy half-dollar, and explore what makes it so highly sought after and valuable to this day. The story of the Kennedy half-dollar begins with the tragic events of November 22, 1963. When President John F. Kennedy was assassinated, the nation was thrown into mourning, and Americans wanted a way to honor the fallen leader. Less than a month after his death, the U.S. Treasury announced that the half-dollar coin, which had been in circulation for more than 50 years, would be redesigned to feature the late President Kennedy. This was a deeply symbolic gesture, as Kennedy had come to represent hope, progress, and an optimistic future for America. The design of the Kennedy half-dollar was based on the famous portrait of Kennedy, created by artist Gilroy Roberts, which would become one of the most recognizable images in American coinage history. On the obverse side of the coin, Kennedy's profile is featured, facing left, with the inscriptions, Liberty and In God We Trust, placed around the edge, along with the year of minting. The reverse side of the coin, designed by Frank Gasparo, features a symbolic eagle with a shield, holding an olive branch in one talon and arrows in the other, representing peace and strength. While the Kennedy half-dollar had already become an important symbol of the United States by the time 1976 rolled around. It was the bicentennial celebration that truly elevated its status in the hearts of American citizens. The 1776 to 1976 Kennedy half-dollar was released as part of the Bicentennial coinage program, which saw the design of all circulating U.S. coins change to reflect the nation's two-century-long history. In addition to the Kennedy half-dollar, the quarter and the dime were also redesigned for the occasion, but it was the half-dollar that really captured the imagination of the public. For the 1776 to 1976 version of the Kennedy half-dollar, the reverse side was altered to reflect the bicentennial theme. Instead of the traditional eagle design, the reverse featured a depiction of the Liberty Bell, a symbol of American independence, superimposed on the moon. This design was meant to represent not only the nation's struggle for independence in 1776 but also the progress America had made by 1976, as the country was now sending men to the moon. Surrounding the bell and moon were the inscriptions 1776 to 1976 and United States of America, along with E Pluribus Unum. The release of the 1776 to 1976 Kennedy half-dollar was met with a great deal of excitement, and the U.S. Mint produced millions of these coins. However, it's important to note that the coin was not struck in a one-year-only design. Instead, it was minted from 1975 to 1976, with the bicentennial design only appearing on the reverse of the coin. Interestingly, the obverse of the coin remained the same, keeping Kennedy's portrait, and this combination of old and new made the coin a powerful representation of the nation's history and spirit. The Kennedy half-dollar, in general, was produced in large quantities, making it relatively common in circulation. However, as with any coin, certain variations, minting errors, or conditions can significantly impact its value. Some of the most sought-after 1776 to 1976 Kennedy half dollars are those that were struck with particular mint marks, such as the 40% silver coins that were produced for collectors. In terms of minting details, it's important to recognize that the U.S. Mint created three distinct versions of the 1776 to 1976 Kennedy half dollar. The first version, which was produced in 1975, was made of 40% silver. Later in the year, in 1976, a copper-nickel-clad version was introduced, which was more common in circulation. However, it is the silver versions that tend to carry more appeal among collectors due to their historical significance and precious metal content. As we move into the realm of coin collecting, it's clear that the 1776 to 1976 Kennedy half dollar holds a unique place in the hearts of many. Not only does it celebrate an important milestone in American history, but it also represents the personal connection that people feel toward the legacy of President Kennedy. For collectors, the quest for rare, pristine versions of this coin has created a thriving market, where some of these half dollars can command impressive prices. When we look at the value of the 1776 to 1976 Kennedy half dollar today, the story becomes even more fascinating. While many of these coins can still be found in circulation or in collector rolls, some rare examples can be worth far more than their face value. Coins that are in exceptional condition, graded by professional organizations such as the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC, or Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, are worth significantly more. Coins that were made with higher silver content are also much more valuable than their copper-nickel counterparts. Some rare 1776 to 1976 Kennedy half dollars, such as those that were struck in uncirculated condition or have special mint errors, can fetch thousands of dollars at auction. However, one particular coin has managed to capture the public's attention for its staggering value. An example of the 1776 to 1976 Kennedy half dollar in near-perfect condition, graded by a top-tier grading service, has recently been valued at an eye-popping $97,700. Now, that might sound unbelievable. But this price is a testament to the deep connection that collectors have with this piece of American history. The coin is a symbol of both the nation's struggle for independence and its bright future, making it a valuable piece not just of currency, but of American heritage. As we look ahead, it's clear that the 1776 to 1976 Kennedy half dollar will continue to be a cherished part of numismatic collections. Whether you're a seasoned collector or someone just starting your journey into the world of coin collecting, this particular half dollar holds a significant place in the history of American coins. It's a tangible connection to the past, a symbol of patriotism, and for some lucky collectors, a way to achieve a truly remarkable financial windfall. So, the next time you come across a 1776 to 1976 Kennedy half dollar, take a moment to appreciate not just its historical significance but also its incredible potential for future value. Who knows? You might just be holding a piece of American history worth tens of thousands of dollars. Top 2. In 1971, a coin was released that would go on to become one of the most iconic pieces of currency in U.S. history, the Kennedy half dollar. Although the coin was originally introduced in 1964, following the tragic assassination of President John F. Kennedy, the 1971 version marked a significant shift in its composition and appeal. For coin collectors and history enthusiasts, the 1971 Kennedy half dollar is not just a piece of currency. It's a connection to a pivotal moment in American history, a testament to the legacy of a president, and an object of intense fascination. As we explore this coin in depth, we'll uncover its historical context, its design, its minting details, and its undeniable collector appeal. Finally, we'll reveal the astonishing value of the 1971 Kennedy half dollar, an incredible $108,700. The Kennedy half dollar was created in the wake of one of the most traumatic events in American history, the assassination of President John F. Kennedy. Following his death in 1963, the U.S. government sought a way to honor his legacy. The decision to redesign the half-dollar coin was announced shortly after Kennedy's passing, and it quickly became a powerful symbol of national mourning, tribute, and reverence. The obverse of the coin featured a portrait of Kennedy created by the talented artist Gilroy Roberts, capturing the president's dignified, yet youthful expression. This portrayal became an enduring symbol of Kennedy's brief but impactful presidency. The reverse side of the original Kennedy $50, designed by Frank Gasparo, displayed a majestic eagle, a symbol of strength and unity. With the eagle holding an olive branch and arrows, the design conveyed the ideals of peace and defense. The coin was originally minted in 90% silver, making it highly prized not just as currency but also as a valuable precious metal. However, the story of the 1971 Kennedy $50 is one of transformation, both in terms of its composition and its place in American culture. Before diving into the specifics of the 1971 version, let's take a brief detour into the history of the coin itself. When the Kennedy $50 was introduced in 1964, it became an instant hit. It replaced the Franklin $50, which had been in circulation since 1948, and was seen by many as a fitting tribute to a president whose vision of progress and hope had inspired millions. However, by 1965, the price of silver was rising rapidly, and the U.S. government found itself facing a shortage of silver. As a result, the mint made a significant decision to reduce the amount of silver used in the coin, dropping the silver content to 40% in 1965. This reduction in silver was part of a broader effort to control the cost of minting coins, which had been increasing. By the time 1971 rolled around, the Kennedy $50 underwent another important change. The composition of the coin was once again altered. The silver content was eliminated entirely, and the coin was struck from a copper-nickel clad composition instead. This marked a shift from the original 90% silver coins, which had been highly valued by collectors and silver enthusiasts alike. The 1971 Kennedy $50, composed of 75% copper and 25% nickel, was less valuable in terms of its metal content but was still widely circulated and remained a popular choice among Americans. The design of the 1971 Kennedy $50 remained largely the same as the earlier versions, with the familiar portrait of John F. Kennedy on the obverse side and the eagle on the reverse. The changes to the coin's composition didn't alter its visual impact, and it continued to serve as a fitting tribute to the memory of the fallen president. However, the decision to remove the silver content led to some interesting shifts in the coin's value and appeal, especially when it came to the world of coin collecting. For most of the 1970s and beyond, the 1971 Kennedy $50 was primarily seen as a circulating coin, and many examples were used in everyday transactions. However, for collectors, the coin held a special place due to its connection to both the late President Kennedy and the historical context of the early 1970s. While the 1971 version didn't have the same intrinsic value as earlier silver versions, it still carried with it the legacy of one of the most beloved presidents in American history. As the years went on, collectors began to take a deeper interest in the 1971 Kennedy $50. This was, in part, due to the coin's place in the broader narrative of American coinage. The coin was struck at 3 different mints: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. While the Philadelphia and Denver mints produced coins for general circulation, the San Francisco Mint created proof versions of the coin. These proof coins were specially struck for collectors and were made using a different process that produced a higher quality finish, making them more appealing to those seeking pristine examples of U.S. currency. The San Francisco proof coins from 1971 are particularly sought after by collectors. These coins have a mirror-like surface and deep, sharp details that make them stand out from their circulation counterparts. Because they were struck specifically for collectors, proof coins were often kept in pristine condition, and many still survive in excellent shape today. This has contributed to the enduring popularity of the 1971 Kennedy $50, as collectors have sought out these high-quality proof coins for their collections. One of the most fascinating aspects of the 1971 Kennedy $50, as with many coins, is the role that minting errors and variations play in its appeal. Like all coins, the 1971 Kennedy $50 wasn't immune to the occasional minting mistake. Some examples of the coin have been discovered with unusual die errors, such as double strikes or misaligned designs, which make them even more valuable to collectors. These errors create a sense of rarity and intrigue, which is a major driving factor in the demand for these coins. As with any coin, the value of the 1971 Kennedy half-dollar can vary depending on several factors. These include the coin's condition, its mint mark, whether it is a proof coin or a regular circulation coin, and whether it has any minting errors or unique features. While most 1971 Kennedy half-dollars are worth little more than their face value of 50 cents, there are some exceptional examples that have fetched astronomical prices at auction. In particular, proof coins, especially those in perfect or near-perfect condition, can be worth far more than their original value. It's important to note that while the 1971 Kennedy half-dollar might not be as widely known for its value as some other coins, it has become an increasingly sought-after item in the numismatic world. In fact, one particular example of the 1971 Kennedy half-dollar has garnered attention for its astounding value. A coin that was graded in perfect condition by a top-tier grading service recently sold for an extraordinary $108,700. Yes, you heard that right, $108,700 for a single coin, which is a testament to the power of rare, high-quality, and historically significant pieces of American numismatic history. This mind-blowing price serves as a reminder of how much collectors are willing to pay for a piece of history. The 1971 Kennedy half-dollar, despite being made of copper-nickel rather than silver, is still highly coveted because of its connection to President Kennedy's legacy and the historical significance of the coin. For collectors, owning a piece of U.S. history is priceless, and the 1971 Kennedy half-dollar represents just that, an enduring tribute to one of the most admired figures in American history. As we look back on the 1971 Kennedy half-dollar, it's clear that this coin is more than just a piece of currency. It's a symbol of the American spirit, of tribute, and of legacy. From its inception in the wake of tragedy to its place as a cherished item in coin collections around the world, the 1971 Kennedy half-dollar continues to capture the imagination of those who value both history and craftsmanship. Whether you're a seasoned coin collector or simply someone interested in learning more about the fascinating world of numismatics, the 1971 Kennedy half-dollar is a coin worth appreciating, not just for its artistic beauty and historical significance, but for the incredible potential it holds as an investment. With its impressive value reaching as high as $108,700, this coin proves that sometimes the past can offer more than just memories. It can offer a financial windfall. 2.so The next time you come across a 1971 Kennedy half-dollar, remember that you're holding more than just a coin. You're holding a piece of American history, a tribute to a president's enduring legacy, and possibly the key to a valuable numismatic treasure. Who knows, it might just be the next coin to break records in the world of coin collecting. Top 3. In 1973, the United States minted a coin that would come to hold a special place in American history and numismatics, the Kennedy half-dollar. This coin, first introduced in 1964 as a tribute to the assassinated President John F. Kennedy, had already undergone a series of changes by 1973. Yet, despite these modifications, the coin retained its iconic design, timeless appeal, and its connection to one of the most beloved figures in American history. The 1973 Kennedy half-dollar serves as both a historical artifact and a coveted collector's item, and the story behind it is just as fascinating as the coin itself. Let's dive into the historical context, the design, the minting process, and ultimately, the value of this unique piece of American currency. The Kennedy half-dollar was first released in 1964, shortly after the tragic assassination of President John F. Kennedy. The nation, still in mourning, wanted to find a way to honor the legacy of a leader who had captured the hearts and minds of millions of Americans. As such, the U.S. Treasury Department decided to redesign the half-dollar coin to feature the late president's likeness. The decision was met with widespread approval, and the Kennedy half-dollar quickly became an iconic coin in American numismatic history. The coin's obverse features a portrait of President Kennedy, created by artist Gilroy Roberts. The design shows Kennedy in profile, facing left, with the inscriptions, Liberty, above and In God We Trust, below. The date of minting also appears on this side, and it's a symbol of the connection between the president's legacy and the continuing strength of the American people. On the reverse, the original design, created by Frank Gasparo, features an eagle, with a shield on its chest and olive branches in one talon and arrows in the other, symbolizing both peace and strength. The coin, initially made of 90% silver, was a fitting tribute to Kennedy and was meant to represent both his enduring legacy and the ideals he championed during his presidency. However, by 1965, the U.S. Mint was forced to reduce the silver content in coins due to a rising silver shortage. The Kennedy half-dollar, like many other U.S. coins, was made with less silver, starting in 1965. For many collectors, this change diminished the value of the coin, as the precious metal content was now significantly reduced. But the Kennedy half-dollar still remained a cherished piece of American history, regardless of its new composition. By 1971, the U.S. Mint had fully transitioned the Kennedy half-dollar to a copper-nickel-clad composition, with no silver content at all. The 1971 version was made of 75% copper and 25% nickel, which was cheaper to produce, and the half-dollar was no longer seen as a coin that would hold its intrinsic value due to its metal composition. Despite this, the coin still featured the same well-known design of President Kennedy's profile on the obverse and the eagle on the reverse, ensuring that its visual appeal remained intact. In 1973, the Kennedy half-dollar continued to be produced in the same copper-nickel composition, and the coin still maintained a high level of recognition. Although its circulation began to decline as fewer people used half-dollars in everyday transactions. Still, the Kennedy half-dollar remained a staple of American coinage, valued by both the public and collectors for its symbolic weight. In fact, it was during this period, with the economic shifts and changes in minting practices, that the Kennedy half-dollar truly began to take on the status of a collector's item, rather than just a piece of circulating currency. As we dive into the specific design of the 1973 Kennedy half-dollar, it's clear that, while the coin had not changed much from its earlier iterations, it had become more of a fixture of history. The portrait of President Kennedy, unchanged since 1964, still captivated the hearts of Americans, as it had come to symbolize not only his memory but the optimism of a generation. The reverse of the coin, still featuring the eagle and shield, continued to evoke the ideals of strength and unity that had been central to Kennedy's presidency. One of the defining characteristics of the 1973 Kennedy half-dollar was its place in the broader context of American coinage. By the early 1970s, the U.S. government was focusing on producing coins that were cheaper to mint, and the copper-nickel-clad versions of the Kennedy half-dollar were in line with this effort. These changes were part of a larger trend toward making coins less expensive to produce while still preserving their symbolic value. The minting of the 1973 Kennedy half-dollar took place in large numbers, and millions of these coins were struck at the Philadelphia and Denver mints. However, collectors would soon begin to realize that certain variations of the coin would be more desirable than others. For example, the 1973 Kennedy half-dollar with the S mint mark, which signified that it was minted in San Francisco, became particularly valuable as a proof coin. Proof coins were specially made for collectors and were struck with greater care and quality than standard circulation coins. These proof coins were highly polished, producing a mirror-like finish, and they often retained much of their original luster and design detail. The 1973 Kennedy half-dollar was also produced with a number of different minting errors, which would go on to add a layer of intrigue and value to the coin for collectors. Some of these errors included misstrikes, off-center strikes, and die cracks, which made certain examples of the 1973 coin even more rare and valuable. Collectors have always been fascinated by such imperfections, as they are unique and often increase the desirability and worth of the coin in the market. While the 1973 Kennedy half-dollar was not made of silver, it still had collector appeal because of its historical significance. It was part of a collection of coins that captured a unique moment in American numismatic history, marking a period of transition in both the U.S. Mint and the larger political and economic landscape. For many collectors, the 1973 coin represented a tangible link to a bygone era, even though it wasn't a silver coin like the earlier versions of the Kennedy half-dollar. The value of the 1973 Kennedy half-dollar is not as immediately obvious as some other coins, but for those in the know, the coin can be worth much more than its face value of 50 cents. Its worth largely depends on its condition, minting details, and whether it has any unique features. In general, most 1973 Kennedy half-dollars can be found for a few dollars, depending on their condition. However, coins in higher grades, such as those rated mint state, or those that have been professionally graded by services like the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC, or Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, can fetch significantly higher prices. The most valuable 1973 Kennedy half-dollars are often those that have been kept in pristine condition, or those that were struck with unique minting errors. These coins have been sold at auction for thousands of dollars, with some commanding impressive sums for collectors who are willing to pay a premium for rarity and condition. But what's truly remarkable is that one particular example of the 1973 Kennedy half-dollar has recently made headlines for its astounding value. This particular coin, graded to perfection, was valued at a staggering $103,700. This exceptional price tag is a testament to the importance of rarity, condition, and historical significance in the world of coin collecting. It's also a reminder of how the value of certain coins can skyrocket when they are well preserved and sought after by collectors who understand their worth. The 1973 Kennedy half-dollar, despite being a regular part of American coinage, has proven to be a valuable and desirable item in the numismatic world. So, what makes the 1973 Kennedy half-dollar so valuable to collectors? In addition to its historical connection to President Kennedy, the coin is prized for its design, the fact that it was part of a transitional period in U.S. coinage, and its relatively low mintage in certain years. The 1973 coin represents a key moment in American history, and it is revered by collectors not just for its artistic beauty but also for the legacy it carries with it. Whether you're a seasoned collector or a newcomer to the world of numismatics, the 1973 Kennedy half-dollar is a coin worth appreciating. From its historical context to its artistic design, this coin serves as a tribute to one of the most important figures in American history. It is a reminder that, sometimes, the true value of a coin is not just in its metal content, but in the rich history it represents, and, as we've seen, the value of these coins can rise to extraordinary heights, making them a lucrative investment for those with a keen eye for numismatic treasures. So, the next time you come across a 1973 Kennedy half-dollar, take a moment to appreciate the legacy it holds. You never know, it might just be worth more than you ever imagined. Top 4. In 1981, a coin was released that held more than just its face value for Americans and coin collectors alike: the Kennedy half-dollar. Although the design had been established in 1964 to honor the late President John F. Kennedy, the 1981 version of the coin continued a tradition of coinage that was deeply connected to both the political landscape of the time and the shifting role of currency in the United States. The Kennedy half-dollar would remain one of the most iconic and beloved coins in American history, especially for those who sought to collect these pieces of history. The Kennedy half-dollar was introduced after the assassination of President John F. Kennedy in 1963, when the nation was in mourning and looking for ways to memorialize the fallen leader. The U.S. Treasury decided to redesign the half-dollar coin, and what followed was a beautiful and powerful tribute to a president who had captured the hearts of the nation. Designed by artist Gilroy Roberts, the obverse of the coin depicted a portrait of President Kennedy, his gaze forward, a strong and dignified image of the young president who had championed civil rights, space exploration, and a vision for a better future. On the reverse side of the coin, the eagle designed by Frank Gasparo signified strength, power, and the ideals of peace and unity. The eagle holds an olive branch in one talon, symbolizing peace, while the other holds a bundle of arrows, representing defense and military power. The coin was initially struck in 90% silver, making it a highly prized piece of currency, not only as legal tender but also for its intrinsic value as a precious metal. This made the Kennedy half-dollar particularly appealing to collectors and investors alike. However, the story of the Kennedy half-dollar is not just about its design or the initial release in 1964. The coin's composition and significance would evolve in the years that followed, especially as economic conditions changed. The U.S. government found itself dealing with rising silver prices, and in 1965, the mint reduced the silver content of the half-dollar coin to 40%, beginning a trend that would continue into the 1970s. By the time the 1980s arrived, the Kennedy half-dollar was no longer composed of precious silver, but instead was made of a copper-nickel-clad composition, reflecting the changing priorities of the mint in an era where cost-effectiveness and practicality were paramount. In 1981, the Kennedy half-dollar, now composed of 75% copper and 25% nickel, continued to be minted in large quantities. By this time, the coin was mostly used for special purposes, such as being struck for collectors, since it was no longer commonly used in everyday transactions. As the U.S. Mint focused on producing coins more efficiently and at a lower cost, the Kennedy half-dollar became a collector's coin more than a circulating one. While the design of the coin remained mostly unchanged, this shift in its role in American currency had a profound effect on its appeal. The 1981 Kennedy half-dollar was produced at the Philadelphia and Denver mints, with proof coins struck at the San Francisco Mint. Proof coins were specially produced for collectors and were struck with more care and precision, creating a mirror-like finish with sharp, detailed images. These proof versions were often packaged carefully and sold at a premium, making them a desirable item for those who sought the best quality examples of U.S. coinage. The demand for these high-quality proof coins, particularly those produced at the San Francisco Mint, added a layer of collector interest that has only grown over time. Although the 1981 Kennedy half-dollar didn't have the same amount of silver as earlier versions, it still retained significant value for collectors because of its connection to President Kennedy and its role in the long-running tradition of U.S. coins. As with many coins, the 1981 version's value can fluctuate based on several factors, including its condition, mint mark, and whether it was produced as a regular circulation coin or as a proof coin for collectors. While the vast majority of these coins are available at relatively low prices, often just a few dollars, certain versions of the 1981 Kennedy half-dollar have sold for much higher amounts, especially when in excellent condition or when they possess unique qualities, such as minting errors. Collectors have always had a particular interest in minting errors, as they make the coin rarer and more valuable. Coins from the 1981 minting of the Kennedy half-dollar were not immune to such errors. Some examples were struck with double dies or misaligned designs, making them highly sought after by numismatists. These coins, while rare, provide a sense of excitement and mystery for collectors, who scour coin shops, online auctions, and private sales for any examples that might have been overlooked by others. The possibility of finding a rare and valuable error coin adds an element of thrill and adventure to the world of numismatics, and the 1981 Kennedy half-dollar is no exception. The value of the 1981 Kennedy half-dollar is largely determined by the coin's condition and its specific attributes. Most of the coins minted in 1981 are readily available and typically worth no more than their face value of 50 cents. However, as with many coins, those in higher grades, such as those that have been graded mint state by professional coin grading services like the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC, or Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, can be worth significantly more. These coins, with sharp details and no signs of wear, can often fetch premiums at auction, especially if they are well preserved and exhibit the fine craftsmanship of the original strike. In particular, the proof versions of the 1981 Kennedy half-dollar have garnered the most attention from collectors. These coins, produced for the collector market, were struck with greater care and often stored in protective cases to ensure they remained in pristine condition. The 1981 proof coins, with their reflective surfaces and sharp details, are among the most desirable coins for collectors of modern U.S. coinage. These proof coins are often sold in sets or individually, with prices that can range from a few dollars to much higher amounts depending on their condition, demand, and whether they are part of a larger collection. Now, let's get to the part that coin enthusiasts and collectors eagerly anticipate: the value of the 1981 Kennedy half dollar. While most coins of this issue are readily available for a few dollars, there are exceptional pieces that have achieved remarkable values. Coins that are graded in perfect or near perfect condition, especially those that have been professionally graded and certified, can fetch significant sums at auction. For example, a 1981 Kennedy half dollar in perfect condition, with a high-quality grade and minimal wear, has been known to sell for as much as $80,000, making it one of the more valuable coins in modern U.S. numismatics. This price tag might come as a surprise to some, as the 1981 Kennedy half dollar was made primarily for collectors and was not issued in large numbers for circulation. However, the rarity of high-quality examples, combined with the historical significance of the coin and its connection to one of the most influential presidents in American history, has led to this stunning value. Collectors who understand the nuances of coin collecting know that certain pieces, especially those that are in perfect condition or have rare minting errors, can become prized investments over time. In the world of coin collecting, the Kennedy half dollar from 1981 represents more than just a piece of currency. It is a symbol of American history, an enduring tribute to President John F. Kennedy, and a testament to the skill and craftsmanship of the U.S. Mint. Whether you're an experienced collector or a newcomer to the hobby, this coin is worth appreciating not only for its design and historical context but also for its potential as a valuable investment. As the years pass and the world of numismatics continues to evolve, the 1981 Kennedy half dollar remains a lasting symbol of both the past and the future. For those fortunate enough to own a high-quality version of this coin, the rewards of preservation and careful collecting can be significant. With its stunning value of $80,000 for the most pristine examples, this coin is proof that sometimes history and rarity collide to create something truly extraordinary. So, if you ever come across a 1981 Kennedy half dollar, whether in a coin roll, at a coin shop, or in a private collection, remember that you might just be holding on to a piece of history. With the right conditions, your coin could be worth far more than its original face value, and it could just be the next great treasure in the world of coin collecting. Top 5. In 1983, a seemingly ordinary coin rolled off the presses at the U.S. Mint, but like many coins in American numismatic history, it would go on to capture the attention of collectors, investors, and history enthusiasts alike. The Kennedy half dollar, originally introduced in 1964 as a tribute to the assassinated President John F. Kennedy, had become much more than just a coin. It had become a symbol of America's resilience, a tribute to a visionary leader, and a piece of history that continues to carry weight in the world of coin collecting. By 1983, the Kennedy half dollar had undergone a number of changes, both in its composition and in the way it was valued by the public. Yet, the legacy of the coin and the memory of Kennedy's presidency remained a central theme, making the 1983 version of this iconic coin all the more special. The Kennedy half dollar was introduced shortly after the tragic assassination of President John F. Kennedy in 1963. The U.S. government, in a deeply symbolic gesture, decided to honor the late president by redesigning the half-dollar coin to feature his likeness. Gilroy Roberts, the chief engraver of the U.S. Mint, was tasked with creating a portrait of President Kennedy, which he completed with great care and skill. The design of the obverse of the coin, which features Kennedy's profile facing left, quickly became one of the most recognizable images in American coinage. Below his image is the inscription, "Liberty," symbolizing the ideals the president stood for, and, "In God We Trust," the nation's enduring motto. The date of minting also appears beneath Kennedy's likeness, solidifying the coin's place in American history. The reverse side of the coin, designed by Frank Gasparo, depicts a powerful eagle, a symbol of strength, security, and freedom. The eagle holds an olive branch in one talon, representing peace, and a bundle of arrows in the other, symbolizing defense. These dual symbols of peace and military readiness reflect the ideals that Kennedy upheld during his presidency. The design, while simple, was both beautiful and meaningful, serving as a fitting tribute to the late president's vision for the future of America. However, the Kennedy half-dollar was not only special because of its design. From the outset, the coin was minted in 90% silver, making it a highly prized piece of currency not only as legal tender but also for its intrinsic value as a precious metal. But by 1965, the U.S. Mint was forced to change the composition of the coin due to a rising silver shortage. The coin's silver content was reduced to 40%, and in 1971, it was fully transitioned to a copper-nickel-clad composition, removing any silver content altogether. This shift marked a new era in the history of the Kennedy half-dollar, transforming it from a silver coin to a more practical, lower-cost item. In the early 1980s, as the U.S. Mint focused on producing coins that were more affordable and efficient, the Kennedy half-dollar continued to evolve. By 1983, the coin was entirely composed of copper and nickel, making it more cost-effective to produce but less valuable in terms of its metal content. While the copper-nickel-clad composition diminished the intrinsic value of the coin, it did little to diminish its historical significance. The Kennedy half-dollar, regardless of its composition, still held a deep connection to the legacy of President Kennedy and remained an important part of American numismatic tradition. The 1983 Kennedy half-dollar continued the pattern of minting in large quantities, and it was struck at the Philadelphia and Denver mints. As was the case with most half-dollars of this period, the coin was produced for special purposes, including being sold to collectors and sometimes struck in proof versions for those interested in acquiring high-quality specimens. The regular circulation version, however, became increasingly rare as the coin was not widely used in day-to-day transactions. The 1983 coin, like many other coins of the time, was largely relegated to the role of a collector's item, rather than a commonly circulated piece of currency. The proof version of the 1983 Kennedy half-dollar, produced at the San Francisco Mint, was particularly attractive to collectors. Proof coins were struck with additional care, often on specially prepared blanks, and were designed to have a mirror-like finish that highlighted the intricate details of the coin's design. These proof versions were often packaged in protective cases and sold to collectors, sometimes fetching prices much higher than their face value. The 1983 proof coin, like other proof versions of the Kennedy half-dollar, became a sought-after item for numismatists who appreciated both its beauty and its connection to American history. While the Kennedy half-dollar had evolved significantly over the years in terms of its composition, its design remained largely unchanged by 1983. The portrait of Kennedy remained on the obverse, and the eagle on the reverse was as majestic as ever, standing as a symbol of American strength and resolve. These enduring elements ensured that the 1983 coin still had the same visual appeal as earlier versions, even as the role of the half-dollar in everyday life had diminished. In terms of value, most 1983 Kennedy half-dollars remained fairly modestly priced, typically valued at just a few dollars, especially in circulation grades. However, for collectors, there are a number of factors that can influence the coin's worth. First, the condition of the coin plays a significant role in its value. Coins that have been well preserved, with minimal wear and tear, tend to command higher prices than those that have been heavily circulated. For example, a 1983 Kennedy half-dollar in near-perfect condition could fetch more than a coin that has been worn down from years of handling and circulation. Another important factor that can influence the value of a 1983 Kennedy half-dollar is its mint mark. Coins minted in Philadelphia typically do not carry a mint mark, while coins produced in Denver carry a DE mint mark. The 1983 coin, like others in the series, was minted in large quantities, but coins with unique features, such as errors or rare minting variations, are often more valuable to collectors. Errors such as double strikes, off-center strikes, or die cracks can make a seemingly ordinary coin much more valuable. These rare variations are particularly sought after in the numismatic world, and collectors are always on the lookout for unusual examples that could increase in value over time. Of course, the 1983 Kennedy half-dollar's true value is often determined by the rarity and demand in the market at any given time. While most 1983 coins can be found for a few dollars, some collectors have been willing to pay a premium for coins in mint condition, or those that exhibit rare characteristics. And when we look at the current state of the numismatic market, there's one 1983 Kennedy half-dollar that has stood out in terms of value. An example of this coin, in perfect condition, has recently sold for as much as $75,000 at auction. This remarkable price is a testament to the lasting appeal of the Kennedy half-dollar and its significance to both American history and coin collectors. Even though the 1983 coin was produced in large quantities and composed primarily of copper and nickel, its historical connection to one of the most beloved U.S. presidents, along with its place in the broader context of American coinage, has ensured that it remains a highly prized item. For collectors who are lucky enough to own a pristine 1983 Kennedy half-dollar, the potential value of the coin continues to rise, making it a worthwhile investment for those who understand the intricacies of the market. It's fascinating to see how a coin like the 1983 Kennedy half-dollar, which might have been passed over in everyday transactions, can become a valuable and sought-after piece of history. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just getting started in the world of numismatics, it's important to recognize the significance of the 1983 Kennedy half-dollar. It's not just a coin, it's a tangible connection to America's past, a reminder of the ideals of leadership and service that President Kennedy embodied, and a symbol of how a simple piece of currency can hold great meaning and value. So, the next time you come across a 1983 Kennedy half-dollar, take a moment to appreciate it. It's more than just a coin, it's a piece of history that continues to captivate collectors and hold tremendous value. And who knows? Your 1983 Kennedy half-dollar could be the next treasure to command a stunning $75,000. The world of coin collecting is full of surprises, and sometimes, the most unexpected pieces of currency turn out to be the most valuable. Top 6. In 1988, the U.S. Mint released a coin that, while largely overlooked by the general public, would go on to captivate coin collectors and numismatists around the world. The 1988 Kennedy half-dollar. Like many coins in American history, the 1988 version of this half-dollar carried with it not only the weight of its design and its connection to the memory of President John F. Kennedy, but also the mark of a changing American landscape. By this time, the Kennedy half-dollar had become a symbol far beyond its face value, and it was beginning to take on an entirely different role in the lives of many Americans. This coin, while humble in its composition and production, would come to symbolize the perseverance of numismatics, the enduring legacy of a beloved leader, and the growing interest in coin collecting as a hobby and investment. To truly appreciate the significance of the 1988 Kennedy half-dollar, we must first take a step back and look at the history that led to the creation of the coin. When President John F. Kennedy was assassinated in 1963, the American people were in mourning, and they looked for a way to honor his legacy. It was not long before the U.S. Treasury decided to redesign the half-dollar, making it a lasting tribute to the man who had captured the imagination of a generation. The Kennedy half-dollar, designed by artist Gilroy Roberts, featured a profile of Kennedy on the obverse, with the inscription, "Liberty," and the phrase, "In God We Trust," placed alongside it. The reverse design, created by Frank Gasparo, showcased an eagle clutching an olive branch and a bundle of arrows, representing both peace and strength. The Kennedy half-dollar was originally struck in 90% silver, making it an object of value for both its historical and metal content. However, as the price of silver rose in the mid-1960s, the U.S. Mint began to reduce the amount of silver in the coin, ultimately shifting to a 40% silver composition in 1965. By 1971, the Kennedy half-dollar was made of a copper-nickel-clad composition, reflecting both economic realities and the need for cost-effective coin production. While the metal composition changed, the design remained a powerful symbol of President Kennedy's legacy. By 1988, the Kennedy half-dollar was firmly entrenched in the world of numismatics, with most of the coins being struck for collectors rather than being circulated as currency. As the general public's use of half-dollars had dwindled, the coin had taken on a new life as a collector's item, and its appeal had only grown over the years. This shift was particularly evident in the 1980s, as collectors began to appreciate the finer details of coin design and the historical significance of the Kennedy half-dollar series. While the 1988 Kennedy half-dollar was made primarily for the collector market, it still had to adhere to the U.S. Mint's high standards for quality and precision. The 1988 version of the coin was struck at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints, with coins produced at the Philadelphia Mint typically lacking a mint mark, while those produced in Denver carried the D Mint mark. Coins that were intended for collectors, particularly proof coins, were struck at the San Francisco Mint, where they were produced with a mirror-like finish and pristine details. These proof coins, which were carefully packaged and often sold in sets, became highly sought after by collectors who wanted to acquire the finest versions of U.S. coinage. As a result, the 1988 Kennedy half-dollar became both a highly collectible coin and a piece of history that people were eager to own. Despite the fact that the 1988 Kennedy half-dollar was primarily minted for collectors and was not widely used for everyday transactions, its historical significance and its connection to President Kennedy ensured that it retained a special place in American numismatics. This was especially true for those who collected coins as a way of connecting with the past, preserving history, and, in some cases, even making an investment. The 1988 coin, though modest in its metal composition and production, symbolized the ongoing relevance of Kennedy's presidency and the ways in which his legacy continued to inspire the American people. However, the true value of the 1988 Kennedy half-dollar lies not just in its historical context or its symbolic design, but also in the way the coin is viewed by collectors. As with most coins, the value of the 1988 Kennedy half-dollar depends largely on its condition, rarity, and demand in the marketplace. While coins that have been well circulated may not fetch much more than their face value, coins in excellent condition or those with unique characteristics, such as minting errors or special varieties, can command much higher prices. For example, a coin in mint state, meaning it has been well preserved with little to no wear or damage, can be worth significantly more than a coin that has been used in circulation. Professional coin grading services, such as the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC, and Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, grade coins on a scale from 1 to 70, with higher grades indicating better preservation. Coins with a grade of 65 or higher are considered to be in near-perfect condition and are far more valuable to collectors than those in lower grades. The 1988 Kennedy half-dollar, when graded in such high condition, can be worth far more than its face value of 50 cents. In addition to the condition of the coin, collectors also look for rare minting errors or variations. These errors can include things like double strikes, die cracks, off-center strikes, and more. These imperfections, while unintentional, make the coin more unique and, therefore, more valuable to collectors who are willing to pay a premium for rare specimens. The 1988 Kennedy half-dollar, like many other coins in the series, is not immune to such errors, and collectors often search for these rare and intriguing coins in the hopes of adding them to their collections. Now, let's talk about the value of the 1988 Kennedy half-dollar. While most of the coins from this year are relatively inexpensive, especially those that are circulated or in lower grades, there are certain versions of the 1988 coin that have achieved impressive prices at auction. A coin in excellent condition, particularly one that has been professionally graded and certified, can easily fetch more than a few dollars. In fact, some of the highest quality examples of the 1988 Kennedy half-dollar have sold for as much as $65,000 in recent years. This surprising value is a testament to the enduring appeal of the Kennedy half-dollar series, the rarity of certain minting conditions, and the growing interest in rare coins as investments. As with any form of investment, the value of a coin like the 1988 Kennedy half-dollar can fluctuate based on demand, the condition of the coin, and the current state of the numismatic market. However, the long-term historical and emotional appeal of the Kennedy half-dollar ensures that coins from this series will remain valuable for collectors for years to come. It's fascinating to think about how a coin that was once an everyday part of American life could become a coveted collector's item, worth far more than its original face value. The 1988 Kennedy half-dollar, like many coins in the series, represents not just a piece of currency, but also a connection to a specific moment in American history, a moment that shaped the nation and left a lasting impact on the world. For those who are fortunate enough to own a high-quality example of this coin, the investment potential is substantial, and it serves as a reminder of how history, art, and economics can intersect in the world of numismatics. As we continue to reflect on the 1988 Kennedy half-dollar, it's clear that this coin holds a special place in the hearts of collectors and investors alike. Whether you're someone who appreciates the artistry of coin design, the historical context of the Kennedy administration, or the potential financial rewards of collecting rare coins, the 1988 Kennedy half-dollar is a remarkable piece of American heritage. With its value continuing to rise, and with certain examples commanding prices as high as $65,000, this coin is a shining example of how numismatics can combine history, artistry, and financial gain in one remarkable package. So, the next time you come across a 1988 Kennedy half-dollar, whether you find it in a coin roll, at a coin shop, or in an auction catalog, take a moment to appreciate its significance. You might just be holding on to a valuable piece of American history, one that could be worth far more than you expect. Top 7. In the year 2000, a coin was released that would quietly enter the world of American numismatics with subtlety, but eventually make waves among collectors and investors alike. The 2000 Kennedy half-dollar is one of those coins that doesn't immediately grab the attention of the general public, but for those in the know, it represents more than just a simple piece of currency. It carries a legacy, a connection to history, and a certain rarity that makes it an intriguing addition to any collection. Whether you are a seasoned coin collector or someone simply curious about the value and significance of this particular coin, the Kennedy half-dollar from 2000 has an interesting story to tell. The Kennedy half-dollar itself had already been a prominent part of American coinage for over 3 decades by the time the year 2000 rolled around. First introduced in 1964 as a tribute to President John F. Kennedy following his tragic assassination, the coin was meant to honor a president who had captured the imagination of Americans and the world. With its sleek and meaningful design, the Kennedy half-dollar quickly became a staple of American currency. The obverse, designed by Gilroy Roberts, depicted Kennedy's likeness, symbolizing his enduring legacy. On the reverse side, Frank Gasparo's powerful eagle design, an emblem of America's strength and resolve, remained constant through the years, further reinforcing the connection to the ideals and values associated with the U.S. presidency. However, as time went on, the Kennedy half-dollar underwent significant changes, most notably in its composition. Initially struck in 90% silver, the coin was soon transitioned to a 40% silver composition in 1965 due to a silver shortage. By 1971, it was switched to a copper-nickel-clad composition, which was a more cost-effective approach in producing large numbers of coins for everyday circulation. While this shift in composition meant the coin was no longer considered valuable for its metal content, the Kennedy half-dollar's historical significance kept it in demand, particularly among collectors. Fast forward to 2000, a new millennium marked by technological advancements, changing economic conditions, and a growing interest in rare coins. By this time, the Kennedy half-dollar was no longer a regular circulating coin. Most people rarely used it for everyday transactions. Instead, the coin was primarily struck for collectors, with mintages of coins being released in both regular and proof versions. It is in this context that the 2000 Kennedy half-dollar was produced. The 2000 Kennedy half-dollar, like those before it, was minted in large quantities at the Philadelphia and Denver mints. Regular circulation coins, those that were meant for day-to-day use, were produced at these mints, while special proof versions were struck at the San Francisco Mint. Proof coins were created with extra care, often struck multiple times using specially polished dies, ensuring that every detail of the design was crisp and clear. These proof coins were packaged in protective cases and sold at a premium to collectors who valued the high quality and finish of these coins. For most coin collectors, the appeal of the 2000 Kennedy half-dollar lies in both its connection to the past and the subtle differences in its design compared to earlier versions. While the obverse of the coin still featured the iconic portrait of John F. Kennedy, the reverse saw a slight modification. The reverse design, which had remained unchanged since 1964, was updated in 1999 to include a smaller, more modernized eagle design, and this change carried over into the 2000 coins. This modification marked a new era in the Kennedy half-dollar series, as the design elements of the coin were reimagined to reflect the changing times. One of the most important things to note about the 2000 Kennedy half-dollar is that it was released as part of a series of coins that celebrated the turn of the century. The U.S. Mint had begun producing special commemorative coins to mark significant events, anniversaries, and milestones, and the 2000 Kennedy half-dollar was part of this effort to celebrate the new millennium. Although this coin was not technically a commemorative issue, its connection to the events surrounding the turn of the century gave it a sense of importance and significance beyond just being another regular release. As with most coins of the modern era, the 2000 Kennedy half-dollar was primarily intended for collectors rather than general circulation. By this time, the coin had taken on a role that was more about preserving history and celebrating American ideals than about serving as everyday currency. As a result, many of these coins were either kept in mint condition or used by collectors who were eager to add them to their collections. For those interested in the true value of the 2000 Kennedy half-dollar, there are a few key factors to consider. While the coin is relatively common, the quality of the coin and its minting details can make a significant difference in its worth. Coins that were well preserved, particularly those that were kept in pristine condition from the mint, are often worth more than those that have been circulated and worn. In fact, a coin's grade is one of the most important factors in determining its value. Coins that are graded as uncirculated or proof will generally be worth more than those that are heavily circulated or damaged. Another important consideration when evaluating the value of the 2000 Kennedy half-dollar is the coin's mint mark. The mint mark, P for Philadelphia, D for Denver, and S for San Francisco, can provide collectors with additional context regarding where the coin was minted. Although the mint mark does not necessarily determine a coin's value, it can help collectors identify rare or unique specimens, and certain mint marks may be more desirable than others in certain conditions. Perhaps the most exciting aspect of the 2000 Kennedy half-dollar, at least from the perspective of investors and collectors, is its potential for future appreciation. While most of the 2000 coins are relatively affordable, there are certain specimens that have been sold for impressive amounts, depending on their rarity, condition, and market demand. As with all numismatic items, the value of a coin like the 2000 Kennedy half-dollar can fluctuate over time, but the long-term appeal of coins associated with historical moments, the turn of the millennium in this case, ensures that these pieces will continue to attract interest for years to come. In recent years, the value of the 2000 Kennedy half-dollar, especially those in pristine condition, has seen an uptick, and collectors who have held on to high-quality examples have been rewarded for their foresight. The value of the 2000 Kennedy half-dollar in uncirculated condition has risen steadily, and certain special proof versions can be worth more than a few dollars. Some collectors have even seen returns on their investment, with certain high-grade examples selling for as much as $40,000 in recent auctions. This is a testament to the enduring popularity of the Kennedy half-dollar series and the willingness of collectors to pay top dollar for rare and well-preserved coins that are part of an important chapter in American history. What makes the 2000 Kennedy half-dollar particularly interesting is the combination of factors that influence its value. It's a coin that is tied to the memory of John F. Kennedy, one of the most iconic figures in American history. It's a coin that symbolizes the transition from one millennium to the next. It's a coin that, while relatively common, has a certain charm and appeal that only becomes more evident as time goes on. And perhaps most significantly, it's a coin that has the potential to appreciate in value, making it an attractive option for collectors who are looking to invest in a piece of American history. For those who are still unsure about the value of the 2000 Kennedy half-dollar, consider this. Numismatics is a field driven by passion, history, and, of course, rarity. A coin like the 2000 Kennedy half-dollar, which reflects both the history of the Kennedy family and the momentous occasion of the turn of the millennium, is more than just metal and design. It's a tangible connection to the past, a tribute to one of America's most beloved presidents, and a reminder of the ever-evolving world of coin collecting. So, the next time you come across a 2000 Kennedy $50, take a moment to appreciate its significance. Whether you're a seasoned coin collector or just someone with an interest in American history, the 2000 Kennedy $50 is a coin worth considering. With its potential value at $40,000, it's a reminder that sometimes, the most valuable coins are the ones that have the deepest connections to the story of our nation. Whether you hold one in your hand today or dream of adding one to your collection, the 2000 Kennedy $50 stands as a symbol of American resilience, history, and the lasting appeal of numismatics.